All right, so for today's pre-calculus problem of the day, we're talking about transformations of functions. So how does shifting uh, happen? What does that look like? So shifting a graph left to right, up or down, stretching it in various ways, or possibly flipping it upside down, or flipping it horizontally around the y-axis. Um, so we have different rules, and we have different orders, well, not different orders, but there is a particular order that you usually will want to do these. So in this case, we have a function f of x, and we're subtracting 2 from the inputs. We're multiplying the function by 1/3, and we are adding 5 to the output. And so these three things do different things to the graph. And really, this section is mostly just about either memorizing the rules or figuring out what the different things are doing. So if you have trouble remembering what, for instance, a plus 5 does, what you can do is you can start with whatever function you like. Say we start off with x squared. And what you can do, let's move this over here. What you can do is you can make a table. So let's say we have x squared, and we can uh, perform different things. And I still need to move that over. Um, so let's do x. Let's do x squared, and then let's do x squared plus 5 and see what happens. We won't do too many of these. Let's just do one. X is 1, 2, and 3. So if x is 1, x squared is 1. If x is 2, x squared is 4. And if x is 3, x squared is 9. Now, what if it's x squared plus 5? If x is 1, x squared plus 5 would be 6. If x is 2, x squared plus 5 would be 9. And if x is 3, x squared plus 5 is 14. And so then we can graph these two things. We have two functions here. Say we have f of x and then g of x. And so we have 1, 2, 3, and -1, -2, -3. And so when x is 1, and we could also do, we'll squeeze in 0 here. So we have 0, x squared would be 0, x squared plus 5 would be 5. So the regular x squared function, we'll just draw it like this. We know what that looks like. Now, if we have x squared plus 5, the ordered pairs would be 0, 5, 1, 6, 2, 9, 3, 14. So 0, 5, 1, 6, then 2, 9 would be up here, 3, 14 would be up here, and you can kind of imagine that the graph would look like this. And so what we've done is we have shifted this graph up 5 units. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So kind of a rough sketch, a little bit messy, but that's how you can figure out what these different things are doing to the graph. So what does the plus 5 do? What does the minus 2 do? What does the 1/3 do? So you can either memorize these rules, or which isn't too hard. Um, Most of them are fairly logical, honestly. Um, you can either memorize those rules, or you can take a minute and do kind of see what the transformation does do. Um, Now it's kind of hard if you wanted to do all three of these things at once. It'd be kind of hard to figure out what exactly is going on. So you really can only do one at a time. And then it's obvious, we're adding 5 from here to here, adding 5 here to here, and so on. Um, so we're not going to do that for each of these. Let's talk about what they each do, though. So the plus 5, we already figured out, moves up 5. The minus 2, now, so whenever you have, you're adding or subtracting a number outside of the function. So this is not included in the input of the function. We're not changing the input. That moves it up or down. If it was a minus 5, it'd move it down. Um, what does the minus 2 do? Now, the minus 2, the ones that occur in the parentheses here, so this would look like x minus 2 squared or square root of x minus 2, things like that. So you're putting the minus 2 inside the operation of the function. Then that's a horizontal move. Now it's not, it may be the opposite of what you think. So you might think that this moves it left because it's minus and the negative on the x-axis is on the left. It actually moves it to the right. So it moves it the opposite of the way you might think. So this moves it right too. And maybe that's just something you need to memorize, is the opposite of the way you think. There are a couple of things that have come up in math, for me at least, that it works the opposite of the way that my instinct kind of tells me that it does. And this is one of them. So it moves right. The negative 2 moves it right too. So when you're inside the parentheses, it the negative moves it right, the positive moves it left. So if it's x plus 2, that would move it to the left. Then the one third is actually going to vertically shrink by a factor of one third. Um, so essentially it takes it 3 times longer to get up. So if we wanted to go 1 to say 6, it would take it 3 times longer to get there. So we'd have to move out 3 times to get up that high. And so really that's the answer. That's really all we need for this one. Um, and again, it's just a matter of either memorizing these rules or learning how to do it this way so you can kind of figure it out on your own because it's not too hard to figure out. Um, just to kind of summarize, that's going to be vertical, up or down. In here is going to be horizontal. And then whatever number you have out here is going to stretch. And if this number is stretch or shrink, so if it's greater than 1, it's going to be a stretch. If it's less than 1, it's going to be a shrink. And really, this stretch, if we're talking about an x squared, stretch would get it more skinny like that, whereas a shrink would get it wider like that. Um, so um, yeah, so it's really just a matter of kind of learning these rules, using them enough. I'm not really a big advocate of kind of writing this stuff down like the plus 5 out here moves it vertically or horizontally, whatever. Um, I think it's more effective to just do several examples and kind of see the same similar problems over and over again until you get the rules down. Same thing with formulas. I don't think typically writing a formula over and over again just on its own is that helpful. I think it's better to do some problems as you do the problems, write the formula, and then that helps you memorize. So hopefully that helps. Again, these, the more you practice these, the easier they will get. So if you have any others you want me to do, leave it in the comments and I will get to those as soon as I possibly can.